I'm gonna show you the only 3 things that you need to focus on if you wanna start losing weight consistently and you hate working out. Look, fitness sucks, or at least the version of fitness that we were sold our entire lives sucks, right? The version that says you have to work out 5 to 6 times a week for an hour to 2 hours, and it's gotta be miserable. You have to eat just chicken and rice, you gotta count your calories, you gotta do all these things, you gotta weigh every day. And if you don't do that, you're not committed, right? That version. Here's the thing, doing it that way works, right? Works really well. It's called being a bodybuilder, right? And they love that. So if, bodybuilding level training, the version of fitness we've all been sold, like that's how you have to do it, those extremes, if that's a 10, right, we only need to train at like a 3 to get the goals we're after. So that's what this video is gonna be about, getting you to your baseline, doing the bare minimum to get the most amount of results from your effort. We're gonna focus on just building our baseline plan. And the way I define baseline to my clients is the minimum amount of effort required for you to be excited about the way you look and feel. And to do that, we only need to focus on these 3 things. One of them is more important than the rest and is non-negotiable and is mandatory, but I'll explain it when we get there. Now, these are in no particular order. Number 1, activity over cardio. I don't care how we move, but we do need to move. I'm gonna give you the big blanket statement here, and I know it's gonna piss people off, 8 to 10,000 steps. I know half of you fuckers just rolled your eyes and said, but Chris, we're all built different. We don't all need 8,000 to 10,000 steps, and that's just lazy cookie cutter bullshit. And to that, I say, shut up, nerd, shut up. For some damn reason, every time we talk about getting steps, we pretend the only reason to walk or do cardio or to do movement is for weight loss. We forget that there's an immense amount of universal benefits that everyone needs, right, and will benefit from. So yeah, let's assume I need 10,000 steps a day to maintain my weight or to make progress in my weight loss, but my wife only needs, 6,500 because she's a much smaller person. Yes, she probably, that 6,500 may help her maintain or help her make progress. I'm still gonna recommend everyone get a minimum of 8 to 10,000 steps. The other benefits are gonna be what help us preserve our investment, which is all this effort and time we're putting in. No matter how small an investment is, we want to actually enjoy the investment and get a return on it. And that's what the walking and the activity and the other stuff is gonna do. So I don't care how we move, but we do need to move, right? It could be going for walks, it could be playing basketball, it could be strengthening your marital relations, sex, anything, any form of movement. It doesn't need to just be going for a run or getting on the treadmill or do anything like that. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. If you enjoy cardio on the bike or the treadmill or the elliptical or whatever, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. I just want us to get steps. So if we can get 8 to 10,000 steps a day and that becomes just normal, the rest gets really damn easy. Now for number 2, nutrition. But before we talk about nutrition, we need to talk about sleep, which I mentioned before is gonna be the one that is the most important. But don't worry, the food isn't gonna be some strict, miserable meal plan or calorie tracking or anything like that if you don't enjoy that. We need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Mandatory, non-negotiable, it has to fucking happen. But the issue is that everyone tries to schedule sleep last. They plan all of their life and all these crazy things and they're like, well, I only have 5 hours to go to sleep. Guess I'll just hate myself until I die, right? And that's fine, it's a fun hobby, but it doesn't have to be that. People still aggressively underestimate how much sleep dictates your weight loss efforts, right? Or your muscle gain efforts. It physically potentiates results, meaning it directly interacts with our ability to gain muscle or burn fat. It can take a weight loss phase and make almost entirely muscle loss instead, right? Which means your metabolism tanks. And it can also make a muscle gain phase put on almost entirely body fat. Imagine you can only charge your phone once a week. Despite how incredibly powerful a piece of technology it is, the value is severely diminished if you have to ration its effectiveness out over 7 days. But if we know that it's gonna charge back to 100% every single night, then our ability to tap into its effective uses skyrockets. Because now I can push it to its absolute limits. I can use that thing all the way up to 1% battery left, right? Because I know I'm gonna be able to get full access to the whole thing back tomorrow. If you can only tap into 30% of what you're capable of in any given day because you never actually allow your body to charge back to 100% every night, then it's not hard to imagine why we are relatively mediocre at most things we do without exponential amounts of effort. Because our body literally doesn't have anything to give. It's not getting that full reset. It's not getting that phone charged back to 100%. So we're then rationing the 30% we do have over the next 5 to 7 days. We literally don't even have access to everything that we're capable of because our battery just isn't charged full enough. Okay, so back to nutrition. This is the one I know most people are dreading because they think it means you have to eat this really strict, miserable way or you have to give up everything you love. That's not the case. When it comes to how we're eating, we can be in one of 3 states. We can be in a surplus, a maintenance, or a deficit. If we're in a surplus, it means that we're consuming more calories than we're burning, so we gain weight. If we are in maintenance, or what I commonly refer to as baseline, we are consuming the same amount that we're burning, so our weight stays the same. And if we are in a deficit, we are consuming less calories or energy than our body needs to sustain itself. So we lose weight because it's tapping into stored body fat to convert into energy. We're gonna have 2 approaches. We're gonna have a simple approach and we're gonna have the advanced approach. So we're gonna start with the simple approach, and that's gonna be with no tracking, no calorie counting or anything like that. The point is for it to be as seamless as possible, okay? We're gonna be utilizing the 80-20 rule. The simple version is that 80% of our food needs to be lean proteins, right? Whole grains, fruits and veggies, the whole bit. But we can take it a step further, just make it non-processed foods, okay? So if it comes in a package or has a label on it, it's probably processed if you want to make it as easy as possible. And then the other one is going to be 20% foods can be fun foods, your guilty pleasures, right? 20% of your diet should still be those things. Processed foods, they have high calories but low nutrients, meaning there's no substance. That's why it just feels so light on our stomachs and then we're still hungry. Whereas the nutrient-dense foods are packed as full as they can be. You can eat your fill when you're eating healthy because it's all just high quality nutrients and you're gonna get full really quickly. And then with those more fun foods, right? Limit ourselves, that's 20% of our diet. When it comes to the advanced approach for nutrition, the biggest difference is that we're tracking our calories. We have a hard nutritional target. The point of tracking calories is to give us more control. We do want to keep it simple, so the only thing we're going to be looking at is calories and protein. We want to know our general calorie intake. That way, if you want to lose a little bit more weight a week, you know how you're able to adjust that. When I'm in maintenance, when I'm just maintaining my weight year round, I don't track what I'm eating because I know my eating habits. I know how to do what I need to do to stay looking the way I want. And once I have those routines, I eat the same way every day for the most part with very small variations. But the moment I decide I want to either gain weight or lose weight, I have to start tracking because otherwise I'm guessing. If, like I said, the point is for me to have more control, to have more efficient application of my effort. So I'm tracking so that I know exactly how much I need to do or how much I need to do less, right? Not to become a slave to the numbers. The investment in our health beyond just the physical, it also affords us the ability to indulge. The way I'm gonna suggest that you approach cutting calories is by just swapping things out, right? So if you always cook with the oil, just switch the oils in your house to a low fat or 0 calorie oil. That'll drop thousands of calories a week. Swap your sodas to just sugar-free sodas. Don't think you need to give up a bunch of things. Just try to make a couple swaps or just plan for the really big indulgences, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Most of your meals should be based around a lean protein source with at least a cup of veggies. It doesn't matter, just whatever veg you know you can eat and it's never gonna bother you. Make sure you have, at least a good hand size of whole grain, whether it's rice or breads or pastas, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. Just make it food you enjoy. I don't care how you cook it, I don't care how you season it, right? If you're actually eating like this, right, where 80% of your food is whole grains and veggies and healthy sources, eat them till you're full. And one last secret bonus, super saucy tip. Lower your fucking standards, all right? There is no point in having high bars if you can't reach them. We set goals so that we can achieve them, not to say we set goals. Having these rest days, these recovery, these days where you just allow yourself to be lazy or be a bum or do things that excite you and just make you enjoy life and being alive, those things are important because those are the things that reset the systemic fatigue, right? The sleep is gonna reset all the physical fatigue, but those days for you to turn your brain off and not having a single care in the world, those moments are what reset all the mental and the systemic fatigue that builds up over long periods of time and slowly degrades how effective we are at literally anything we do, but especially weight loss. So we want to start with sleep because we know that that physically potentiates everything else. Nothing else can reach its full potential that we do if our sleep sucks. So we start with sleep, okay? So 7 to 9 hours, book it in, Say, okay, this is what time I would need to wake up in the morning to have a perfect day. And this is what time I need to go to bed to get my 7 to 9 hours. Then give yourself another 30 to 45 minute block that's for just downtime. If you follow the plan, or at least some variation of it, you're gonna finally get to tap into 100% of what you're capable of, maybe even more. I don't know how math works. Every single day. If you do just one thing on this list, make it sleep, I promise you. You will not be disappointed by how dramatic the results are. There are lasting effects of constantly failing by setting these insurmountable goals. It keeps piling up and compounding interest against us so that the next time we want to try, we don't. If you can control the parameters of the game, then make it so that you always win. It should be easy. That was always the point. There's no reason to make all of this difficult right from the get-go. Just take the easy win, right? Just keep it simple. If you can do this, if you can get your 7 to 9 hours, if you can get your 8 to 10,000 steps a day and start cleaning up your diet a little bit by being just a little bit more cognizant of what you're choosing, you're gonna start losing half a pound a week, and it's gonna be the easiest thing you've ever done. Set a 5-pound goal, lose 5 pounds, awesome. Now set another 5-pound goal and then do it. Or just say the same, whatever you wanna do. Keep it unfuck-upable. That's the goal, is for this plan, this routine, whatever this is for you, to be unfuck-upable, right? That's the only way it gives us permanent value. If you need help with any part of this, feel free to comment, message, ask your questions. I'll help however I can. My email should also be down below, but you got this.